Class attributes are attributes of a class. When executing a class statement, a new class is created. It's given a name in the first frame of the current environment, and then assignment statements and def statements within the suite of the class statement create class attributes, attributes of the class. Normally, assignment and def would create names in frames, but that's not the case here. Instead, they all go in the class as class attributes. And it's really possible to write any code that you want inside of a class statement. Now, this code is not helpful at all, but it's just here to illustrate what's possible. You can write assignment statements and def statements, and that will create class attributes, meaning that these are values you can access via the class. Nose is a class attribute whose value is big and red. Dance is a class attribute, which is a function that you could call. Now, you would never write such a function because when you instantiate this class, you'll run into a problem. But the point of this example is just to show what happens when you execute a class statement. It puts a bunch of class attributes in the class. Now, there is a good reason to create a class attribute. Class attributes are shared across all instances of a class because they're attributes of the class, not the instance. So, for example, if all accounts had the same interest rate, instead of using an instance attribute to represent the interest rate, we could use a class attribute. And that means that instead of storing this value in every instance that gets created, we just store it once in the class. After creating two instances of the class, we can use either one to access the interest rate. The fact that it's a class attribute is not really apparent when you access it. It just looks like it's an attribute of TomAccount. And it is an attribute of TomAccount, but it's a class attribute, meaning the same value is held for every instance of the class. It's important that the interest attribute is not part of the instance, it's part of the class. It's just the lookup procedure that gave us access to it, even though it was part of the class. As a result, Jim account has the same interest rate.